4 invaluable Stoic lessons that can fundamentally transform your life. These aren't just philosophical musings, they're practical teachings that have stood the test of time and can guide you towards a life of inner peace and resilience. You might be thinking, philosophy, really? But the lessons we're exploring today are particularly impactful because they delve into the essence of how we interact with ourselves and the world around us. They can turn a life of chaos and stress into one of tranquility and strength. To make this more relatable, I'll share some of my personal experiences. Trust me, I've faced my fair share of challenges and made plenty of mistakes along the way, but I've learned a lot from them. These stories are candid and honest, but I believe sharing them will help us all grow. By embracing these Stoic teachings, we can start living a life full of dignity and respect. We'll be drawing on the wisdom of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that offers timeless advice for living a virtuous and fulfilling life. Stoicism is about more than just enduring hardships with a stiff upper lip. It's about cultivating inner peace, integrity, and resilience. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's dive in. Ready? Let's get into it. Lesson 1. Focus on what you can control. Let's get real about control. It's a concept we all struggle with, often trying to control everything around us while neglecting what we can truly manage, our own actions and reactions. I used to be a control freak, obsessing over every detail of my life and the lives of those around me. It took many painful lessons to realize just how futile and damaging this was. When I was in college, I was the captain of my soccer team. I thought being a leader meant micromanaging every player's moves, constantly stressing over the outcomes of our matches. At first, it felt like I was just being a good captain, making sure everything was perfect. But the truth is, my need for control was driving a wedge between my teammates and me. They felt suffocated and untrusted, which only led to more mistakes on the field. One game, we were up against our biggest rivals. I was frantic, yelling instructions, correcting every minor error, trying to control every aspect of the game. We ended up losing badly. After the match, our coach took me aside and said, "You need to let go. Focus on your own game and trust your team to play theirs." It was a hard pill to swallow, but it was exactly what I needed to hear. The Stoics, like Epictetus, teach us to focus on our own character and not meddle in the affairs of others. When you try to control everything, you're not only wasting time, but also setting yourself up for frustration and failure. Some things are up to us, and some things are not up to us, Epictetus said. Understanding this distinction is crucial. By focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and attitudes, you cultivate a sense of inner peace and resilience. You become less affected by external events and more grounded in your own values and principles. This doesn't mean you stop caring about outcomes, but you learn to accept that you can only do your best and let go of the rest. Here's another story to illustrate this lesson. Early in my career, I worked on a high-stakes project. I was determined to control every aspect of it, from the team's work schedule to the presentation details. I was constantly stressed, and my team felt it. Despite all my efforts, things didn't go as planned. The project was delayed, and the stress took a toll on my health. That's when I decided to apply Stoic principles. I started focusing on my own contributions, communicating more effectively, and trusting my team to handle their parts. The shift was remarkable. Not only did the project get back on track, but the team's morale improved significantly. To embrace this Stoic lesson, start by identifying what is within your control and what is not. Practice letting go of the latter. This doesn't mean you become passive. Rather, you become proactive in managing your own responses and actions. It's a powerful way to reduce stress and build stronger, more respectful relationships. Lesson 2. Embrace adversity. Adversity is a part of life that we all face, yet many of us spend a lot of energy trying to avoid it. Stoicism teaches us to embrace adversity as an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. This might sound counterintuitive, but let me share a personal story that highlights the power of this lesson. In my mid-20s, I faced a significant personal setback. I lost a job that I had worked hard to secure. It felt like the end of the world at the time. I was overwhelmed with self-doubt and anxiety about my future. For weeks, I wallowed in self-pity, unable to see any silver lining. One day, a friend introduced me to the works of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. His meditations spoke directly to my situation. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way, he wrote. This perspective was transformative. Instead of viewing my job loss as a disaster, I began to see it as an opportunity to reassess my goals and build resilience. I started applying for new jobs, but this time with a clearer sense of purpose. I took the time to develop new skills and network with professionals in my field. Eventually, I landed a position that was a much better fit for my talents and aspirations. More importantly, I emerged from this experience stronger and more confident. The Stoics believed that adversity is a test of our character. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." When we face challenges head-on, we develop virtues like courage, perseverance, and wisdom. Instead of fearing adversity, we can learn to welcome it as a teacher. Here's another example from my personal life. During a particularly tough period, I was dealing with a lot of stress at work and in my personal life. I felt overwhelmed and defeated. One evening, while reading Epictetus, I came across a passage that resonated deeply. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This reminded me that I had the power to choose my response to adversity. I started practicing mindfulness and meditation to manage my stress. I also sought support from friends and mentors who helped me gain perspective and develop coping strategies. Over time, I learned to face challenges with a more resilient mindset. Adversity became less of a burden and more of an opportunity for growth. To embrace this Stoic lesson, start by reframing your perspective on adversity. Instead of seeing it as something to avoid, view it as an inevitable part of life that offers valuable lessons. Practice resilience by focusing on what you can learn from difficult situations and how you can grow from them. By doing so, you build a stronger, more adaptable character. Lesson 3. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful practice that can transform your outlook on life. The Stoics emphasized the importance of appreciating what you have and recognizing the value of each moment. This lesson can profoundly impact your mental and emotional well-being. I used to struggle with gratitude. I was always focused on what I didn't have, constantly comparing myself to others. This mindset left me feeling perpetually dissatisfied and envious. It wasn't until I started practicing gratitude that I realized how much I was missing out on. One day, feeling particularly low, I decided to start a gratitude journal. Every night I would write down 3 things I was grateful for. At first, it felt forced and superficial, but over time it became a habit that genuinely shifted my perspective. I began to notice and appreciate the small positive moments in my day-to-day life. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, often reflected on the things they were grateful for. In his meditations, Marcus writes, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This simple practice of gratitude can significantly enhance your sense of contentment and joy. Another story from my life highlights the power of gratitude. A few years ago, I went through a rough patch where nothing seemed to go right. Work was stressful, and my personal life was in turmoil. I felt like I was drowning in negativity. Then I remembered the Stoic teachings and decided to focus on gratitude. I started each day by listing things I was thankful for, no matter how small. Gradually, I noticed a shift in my mood and attitude. I became more positive and resilient, better able to handle the challenges I was facing. This practice didn't change my circumstances, but it changed how I perceived and responded to them. Gratitude helps you recognize the good in your life and shifts your focus away from what's lacking. It fosters a sense of contentment and helps you build stronger relationships by appreciating others. The Stoics believed that by practicing gratitude, we cultivate a mindset of abundance and joy. To incorporate this lesson into your life, start a gratitude practice. Whether it's a journal, a daily reflection, or simply taking a moment to appreciate the positive aspects of your day, find a method that works for you. Over time, this practice can transform your perspective and enhance your overall well-being. Lesson 4. Live in accordance with nature. The Stoics believed in living in harmony with nature, which means aligning your life with the natural order of the universe and your own true nature. This lesson teaches us to accept life as it is and to strive to be our best selves. For a long time, I struggled with this concept. I was constantly trying to control and manipulate my life to fit my expectations. This approach led to frustration and disappointment when things didn't go as planned. Then I discovered the Stoic idea of living in accordance with nature. One particularly enlightening experience was a solo hiking trip I took to a remote mountain range. I was seeking a break from the chaos of daily life and a chance to reconnect with myself. The hike was challenging, and I faced several unexpected obstacles, including bad weather and difficult terrain. At first, I was frustrated and anxious, wishing things were easier. But then I remembered the Stoic principle of accepting what is beyond our control and focusing on our actions and attitudes. I decided to embrace the experience, no matter how difficult it was. This shift in mindset allowed me to appreciate the beauty of my surroundings and the strength I found within myself. The Stoics teach us that living in accordance with nature means understanding and accepting the natural course of events. It's about recognizing that we are part of a larger whole and that our lives are interconnected with the world around us. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Adapt yourself to the things among which your lot has been cast, and love sincerely the fellow creatures with whom destiny has ordained that you shall live." Another personal story illustrates this lesson. I used to work in a high-stress corporate job where the pressure to perform was relentless. I was constantly battling against the natural flow of my life, trying to control every outcome. This approach left me burnt out and unhappy. Then I started studying Stoicism and learned about living in harmony with nature. I realized that I was fighting against my true self and the natural rhythm of life. I decided to make a change and pursue a career that aligned more closely with my passions and values. This decision wasn't easy, but it brought me a deep sense of fulfillment and peace. Living in accordance with nature also means being true to yourself. It's about understanding your strengths and weaknesses and striving to live a virtuous life. The Stoics believed that by aligning our actions with our true nature, we can achieve inner peace and fulfillment. To embrace this Stoic lesson, take time to reflect on your life and your true nature. Are you living in a way that aligns with your values and passions? Are you accepting the natural flow of life, or are you constantly battling against it? By living in accordance with nature, you can cultivate a sense of harmony and peace in your life. Incorporating these Stoic lessons into your life can lead to profound changes. By focusing on what you can control, embracing adversity, practicing gratitude, and living in accordance with nature, you can cultivate inner peace, resilience, and fulfillment. These teachings are not just philosophical ideals. They are practical tools that can help you navigate the challenges of life with grace and dignity. Thank you for exploring these Stoic lessons with me. If you found this guide helpful, share it with someone who might benefit from these teachings. Let's strive to live better, more meaningful lives by embracing the wisdom of Stoicism. Until next time, stay strong, stay stoic.